How are we going, guys? And welcome to day 3's nutrition lesson. And today I'm at Tesco's and I'm going to take you around a bit of a guided food shop to help you make better choices and to plan your food shop to be more effective and to help you with your calorie intake. So we'll go around, have a look at a few little swaps you can make, a few little tips that we've got about reading food labels and things like that, and we'll go from there. Okay, see you in there. So one thing I want to make very clear when we're doing food shopping is that there's no such thing as good and bad foods. There's merely foods that are higher in calories and perhaps lower in nutrients, and foods that are lower in calories and potentially higher in nutrients. It's making the choices that allow you to stick to the calorie number that you've picked, and while still feeling full and satisfied and not restricted. Okay, there's no point cutting out chocolates, biscuits, cakes, crisps, ice cream. You know, yes, you'll save a lot of calories, but you'll make your life so miserable that you will not be able to adhere to that long term. So I'm going to show you that you can include anything you want. It's just about making better choices or having higher calorie days where you allow yourself the treats that you really like, and then having lower calorie days so that over the weeks and months you hit the calorie targets that you need to hit. Okay guys, so let's get on with it. So when you first come into the supermarket, you're usually confronted with the fruit and veg aisle here. So this is a great way of getting what we call our micronutrients, our vitamins and our minerals in, which is really good for general immune function, body function, and tends to be, relatively speaking, very, very low calorie. So what you can do here is you can really fill out your meals with a higher volume of fruits and veg, as it just allows you to get a lot of food volume, which is great for being satiated, being full, and it will save you a lot of calories. Okay, vegans and vegetarians as well, you look to get a lot of the variety in as well. Again, another reason for this being so good is that it's very, very high fibre, which is good again for being full and for your digestion as well. Okay, so a mistake a lot of people make is they will grab stuff off here because it's quick, easy and convenient. There tends to, however, be a lot of calories in a lot of the sandwiches, a lot of the pastas, and a lot of the other side dishes. So what you're probably better off doing is just coming just round and grabbing a pot of salad and adding either some sort of fish or chicken to this, as it will be much, much lower calorie, and also you can see from the size of some of the salad dishes you get a lot more food volume in there as well. So when it comes to sort of bread, again, carbs aren't the devil. You can eat bread on it, but what things we can do to make slightly better calorie choices is, for example, instead of the wraps here, the large wraps, you can go just reduce the portion size a little bit, use these smaller wraps that you see across the bottom, as they're much lower calorie, and again, it's the filling that you really want, not necessarily the wrap. So you can just reduce your portion size and control your calories that way. Another great little swap as well, instead of using your full bagels, you can use these bagel thins here, as well as the sandwich thins just across the bottom, as again, they're much, much lower calorie than a normal slice of bread. And again, you can still have your breaded items, but save yourself some calories along the way. So things like crumpets again are another good morning snack, as they are quite filling and they're a lot lower in calories than some other sort of breaded items you can have. So those Warburton ones are about 97 calories per crumpet, which is great for saving calories, and again it gives you that nice warm winter thing. For anyone with any sort of intolerances to anything, or if you just want to save a little bit of calorie, free from range can be quite good. Can be a little bit pricey sometimes, but some of the breads and things actually do save you some calories, so it's quite a good little substitute. So the bread tends to be quite a good one to save a few little calories if you just want loaves of bread. So here we've got our eggs, which are fantastic because they're really, really versatile. They can go into omelettes, pancakes, you can have them scrambled, poached, fried, anything you like. They're a really, really good source of protein, so it's very, very good to get them in. So here we've got our beans, our pulses, our chopped tomatoes and things like that. Now these are great because they're really, really long life and they're quite low calorie per serving. They go into lots of different dishes and they're a good way of just bulking out meals. So well worth getting. I'd also recommend getting in some herbs and spices because again they will last for months on end. They're relatively cheap for how long they last. They can go in so many different dishes and it really will make your food a lot less bland, so you're not just having chicken and rice out of a Tupperware container. So when it comes to things like pasta, guys, it's just about controlling portion size. On a side note though, for vegans, if you go for a red lentil pasta, it's a great way of getting in a decent amount of protein. So for 170 gram serving, you're looking at about 20 grams worth of protein. So it's a good way for vegans and vegetarians to get in some good protein, which is sometimes very, very difficult for you to do. So when we get to cereal, guys, you've got things like your porridge oats, very, very filling, relatively okay calorie-wise. But again, if you have it's all about with cereal, controlling portion sizes, okay? But when it comes to cereal, guys, another thing to be wary of is things that are marketed as health cereals, okay, aren't necessarily as good as everything seems, okay? So if you take this, for example, okay, so your portion size here, you've got 160 calories for the 40 gram. And if you compare that to Cocoa Pops, which is traditionally a quote-unquote unhealthy cereal, you'll see here for 30 grams, that's 115 calories. So if we round that up and call it 40 calories per 10 grams, that's also 160 calories for a 40 gram portion, okay? So they're actually very, very similar calorie-wise. If anything, actually the Cocoa Pops are slightly lower calorie, but you know, allegedly healthy, allegedly not. So don't always be conned by what you see. So moving on to the dairy aisle now, guys, a great way of getting in some easy proteins, especially with things like your natural yogurts, especially the 0% fat ones, because they'll save you loads of calories and are very, very high in protein, as are the Arla protein yogurts up here. Just as we're here, guys, I do want to use this aisle to give you a little help with reading food labels. All right, so this is kind of how you'll interpret what you see and how you'll know to sort of track and things like that, okay? So with here, usually these things are per 100 grams, okay? The things we're interested in when we're especially on the fat loss phase, guys, is how many calories, because ultimately it's energy balance that affects if you lose or gain weight, and how much protein, okay? Because protein is great for the retention of muscle mass and also helping you be satiated, okay? So as you can see here, we've got 54 calories per 100 grams, and we've also got 10.3 grams of protein for that serving as well. So again, that's quite a good one to have, but again, that's what we're looking for, guys, is namely calories per serving and the amount of protein are good things to focus on. Again, guys, people who have got a bit of a sweet tooth, again, like I do, these little yogurts here, especially the Milky Bar mousses and the roller mousses, they're about 80 to 90 calories per tub. Great way of sort of satisfying your sugary cravings and sort of staying low calorie as well. Also, these Pots of Joy, they are a bit higher calorie, they're about 160 calories per pot, but never has anything been more accurately named in the world. These are immense. There's another thing you might not expect to see on a food shop for a quote-unquote healthy eating, but cheeses are fine, guys, okay? And if you do want to save some calories, go for the 50% reduce. You'll save yourself a lot of calories, but a small little bit of cheese is not going to harm anyone at all. So for those of you who need to make lunch on the go or at very, very short notice, these sort of ready-made sort of sandwich meats are a great little snack to go for. They tend to be quite high in protein. Advice I would give though is go for the grilled versions of them, so the roast ones, and you'll save yourself probably half the amount of calories. So another great way of getting protein in, as well as your good omega fats, are your fishes. Okay, good thing about fish as well is, relatively speaking, very, very low calorie compared to sort of other cuts of meat. And if you're worried about it being a little bit expensive, guys, go for the frozen versions. There's nothing wrong with getting frozen versions. If anything, it'll keep the cost down, and also you don't end up throwing much of it out. But no, fish, great way of mixing up a bit of variety in your meals by not always having chicken and mince, and very high protein, very low calorie relatively speaking, and just tastes good. The aisle, guys, you've got your staple stuff like your chicken breasts as well. So to save calories, go for the skinless versions, okay? So you will save yourself a bit of calorie, typically about 30 grams of protein per chicken breast. So really, really good thing to get in. Again, another really versatile meat source is your mince, okay? Again, to save calories, guys, make sure you get the 5% lean mince, as it will save you a lot of calories per your serving. Guys, is our lamb mince, your lamb steaks, things like that as well. Not crazy high per 100 grams, sort of somewhere between about 150, 200 calories per 100 gram. Try and avoid the legs of lamb. They tend to be quite fatty. You end up having to throw a lot of it out, and as you can see, much more expensive. So if you're looking for a bit of a fry up as well at the weekends, because they are amazing, little tips you can have to save some calories, guys, is instead of getting bacon rashers, get the bacon medallions, as they're much, much lower calorie per rasher. You end up something mad like 50 calories per two, so you can end up having like 5 or 6 rashers of bacon for about 150 calories. So following on from your bacon as well, if you do want a bit of a fry up with some sausages, now sausages tend to be, relatively speaking, much, much higher calories, so about 2 sausages, about 300 calories. Things you can do is, again, you can get the skinless lean ones, or you can swap it out for these hex sausages, okay? So 2 of those are about 99 calories, so it's about 2/3 less calories, okay? So it's a good way of still including the foods that you like into sort of meals you like, such as a fry up. So as I mentioned before, guys, don't be afraid to get frozen versions of fruits, veg, meats, fishes like that. It will save you a lot of money. It doesn't perish as quickly, and again, nutritionally exactly the same. So we're now looking at ice cream. Yep, you can still fit this in, guys. So this is part of the flexible dieting approach, where nothing's restricted, nothing's off the table. We just make better choices, or we plan stuff in. So when it comes to ice cream, the temptation is always to go for Ben & Jerry's, which, no one's arguing how nice Ben & Jerry's is, but at like over 1,000 calories a tub, it's a little bit hard to fit in all the time. What you can do is we can go for these Halo Top ice creams, okay? Same amount of ice cream, and they do taste really, really good. But again, look at some of the calories, like 300, 280, 360, things like that. It's 1/3 of the calories for the same sort of thing. Also as well, if you do want something a bit more adventurous, things like your Twisters, your Fabs, your Soleros, your Smarty ice creams are a great option. And also things like your Mars bar ice creams are actually less calories than an actual Mars bar, so you probably get twice the enjoyment for a lot less calories. So yeah, so you think, like I say, your Twisters, even your flakes aren't terrible, like it says. So you can fit ice cream into a lower calorie diet. It's just about making better choices or planning in the higher calories that you want. If you've got a bit of a sweet tooth like I do, these little jellies here are amazing, because they're no more than 10 calories per pot, and they are really quite sweet, so they're very good at sort of satisfying that sort of sweet tooth that you may get middle of the afternoon. So they're good again, and they're usually on offer as well. So again, no more than 10 calories per pot, so they're absolutely brilliant. But just make sure you do get the 10 calorie ones and not the normal ones. So a lot of people do like a sweet treat each day, so another great little sweet treat you can have are little mini cake bars like this. They tend to be between 100 and 140 calories per bar, which is much better than laying your hands on like a full slab of cake, which could be 400-500 calories per slice. So now we're down the chocolate biscuit and the biscuit aisle, and again guys, don't fear these foods at all. You can fit them in anything. It's just a case of just tracking them and making slightly better choices. So things like the snack bars just down the bottom there aren't too bad at all. Kit Kats are about 109 calories per bar for the 2-finger ones, so again they're good. These little Freddo biscuits as well are amazing, and they're not very high calorie at all. And again, instead of looking at things like the Doritos and stuff, you can get the popcorn snacks as well. So here looking at 85 calories, the chocolate popcorn 126 calories per portion. And again, they're all under 150 calories. These barbecue pop chips as well, under 100 calories. You can all fit Orbeez in and still enjoy things like crisps and popcorn for a lot smaller impact on your nutrition. So again guys, with things like chocolate and things like that, again it's a case of reading the food labels, checking the portion size and tracking. See, with the flexible dieting approach, again, as long as it fits into your calorie numbers, you can have it. But failing that, if you do overshoot on one day, don't panic. One day doesn't ruin your life. Just adjust the calories on other days, and if you're good for the week, if you're good for the month, it's consistency over a long period of time is how you win. So with chocolate though, things like Curly Wurlies, the Freddos and Milky Ways are much lower calorie options if you do want to sort of have a reduced calorie intake. Another thing that's quite good as well is the Reese's peanut butter cups. If you have one, it's about 80 calories per cup. But again guys, the case with any of this sort of stuff is plan it in, scan the foods. If you want 2 biscuits, have 2 biscuits. Things like your rich tea biscuits, you know, your hobnobs, digested biscuits, they're all fine. You just track and just make sure that you don't eat 10, or if you do eat 10, just plan in that you have eaten 10 and adjust the calories on other days. Okay, the things I would potentially stay away from guys, because they're a bit of a con, are these Belvita biscuit bars. Okay, they tend to be really high calorie. They are marketed as a healthy breakfast product and they're just really not. So if you do like your fizzy drinks, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're a good way of just getting a bit of a sweet flavour and curbing any hunger cravings. What I would say though guys is swap out your full fat ones for your diet versions, as they'll save you about 130 calories. So when it comes to flavoured waters as well guys, if you go for the sugar-free versions over the full fat versions, you'll save yourself about 40 calories per 250 ml. So again, it's just go for the sugar-free versions and they're literally no calories, like 1 calorie per 250. So the whole thing there is going to be about 6 calories. So again, it's very little calorie impact, and again you still get a bit of flavour in there as well. So when it comes to alcohol guys, again it's a case of tracking it. All right, there isn't really any like low calorie alcohol as such. Sort of Prosecco is about 80 calories per glass, but again just track it and attempt not to sort of see off a couple of bottles a week, and it won't really have that much of an impact on what you do. And again, it's exactly the same for spirits as well. You know, just track it and you'll know where you stand. Okay, if you do go out one night, have a lot to drink, just track what you've had and you'll know where you stand for the weeks. So that was the food shop video guys. I hope you found it useful. If you do have any questions about making your food shop more effective for a fat loss phase, please don't hesitate to get in contact. Take it easy.